This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So this is a video training instruction, step by step, whatever you want to call it, to activate your DocuSign account and also how to use it from command. Whether you're taking advantage of all the components of command or not, um, it does, being part of KW does give you a free DocuSign account, and we access that through command. So for the purpose of this training video, I will not be going into the bells and whistles of command. We're just going to streamline the document signing portion, accessing DocuSign. Just we're going to pretend it's Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and you have to have this ready before you go to bed. What are the must-have things you need to be able to take advantage of the free DocuSign account?
Perfect.
So awesome, Joshua. Thank you for joining and allowing me to record this to share with other agents. I appreciate that.
Well, anytime.
Perfect. So we can see that Josh is already logged into command here. Same login as MyKW, and if you don't have that access, just reach out to me or the MCA. We'll be able to help you sort that out. So the first thing we're going to do is set up the actual account. And to do that, we need to go into settings. So Joshua, if you could hit your name in the top right-hand corner and go to settings. Perfect. Give that a second to load. And you can see there are a whole bunch of applications on the right-hand side that you can scroll down. The top one is DocuSign, which is where we want, but just so everyone's aware, this is also where you go to connect your email, Facebook, etc. So
Sweet.
for DocuSign, on the right-hand side, it says connect accounts. So go ahead and click on that. Make sure this is your trade name. If you go by Josh instead of Joshua, whatever, and before you hit send registration email, make sure it's the email that you're using, that you want to use and continue to use. It's your work email, not your personal.
Okay.
Perfect. If you already have an account, you click the login here button and you just sign in, and then it'll pick up where we left off. So what has happened now is DocuSign has sent you an email to the email address that you specified. So if you can open that mail up. Exactly. Click on the accept invite button, and now it's going to ask you to create a password, re-enter it, and then get a recovery question. And don't worry, Josh, for this recording, we only see little dots for your password.
Okay, awesome.
So click activate. And so now, perfect. We want the username to be blank and just a password. So go ahead. You could have hit save on that. You'll get another opportunity. Just
Awesome.
the important part there is to leave the username blank from this section and go ahead and accept the agreement. Now, this opens up DocuSign. You think, great, we're done. Sorry, that's not the case. Go ahead, click authorize. And you can go back and close that last DocuSign page that you had open. Perfect. All right, so now it's taken us back into command. Either tab is good. You can close this one and go back to the other one that's already loaded. And you see now, instead of connect or sign up, it says authorize. So now we want to click the authorize button within settings. Enter in the password you created, and notice it's already filling in the email because you set the email the first time you went through command. Then it took you to DocuSign, and this is where you hit save because it has the accurate username and password. You accept the terms of service. And once this loads, perfect. Now you have successfully connected your free DocuSign account to command and activated it. You see off to the right now it says disconnect account instead of connect account. So that's it. You'll never have to go back in and do that ever again, right? That's just the setup of DocuSign. Now we get to the task of how to access it and how to use it. So for that, we do need to touch on command a little bit. And there are two things you need to do. One, you need to make sure the contact that you're sending this file to is in your database in command. So if you could click on the two people icon on the left for me, Josh, I'm going to show everybody really quickly how to add a person, and I'll get you to add me, and we'll test out your DocuSign account by sending me a fake document. Top right-hand corner is add contact. All you need is the name and email address. That's it. Like I said, I'm not going to give you the bells and whistles of command. This is how to access DocuSign specific. So go ahead, put Ryan Turnbull. I don't know if you, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
It's all good. And Ryan Turnbull at kw.com. Perfect. Scroll down and hit create. And before we move on to the next section, I think it's important just to let you know and everybody else that's watching this is DocuSign allows your clients to sign the document. You still need to have your documents created and downloaded to your computer. So if you're using web forms, you create the web form and you download it before we go to the next step. So for demonstration purposes, Josh, you can have any PDF whatsoever, it doesn't matter. So from here, you've done the first thing. You've added the contact into command, and now we have to create an opportunity, and that's the icon of the two hands holding each other. Yep, perfect. So once this loads, you're going to see listing, buying, and leases, and they all have the same sub menu in there: cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and close. What I recommend is picking active of whatever the appropriate deal is. So if it's a listing that you need paperwork signed for, go into listings, click active. If you're representing a buyer, then you go into active under the buyer section, or same for lease. So whichever one you prefer, but just as long as you click on active. Perfect. So you can ignore all of these opportunities, whether you have some or you have none. If it's a searching, showing, neighborhood, negotiations, whatever, you can ignore that. All you're going to do is click create opportunity in the top right hand corner. So here we need three things, which is your client. So if you click on client and start to type, nothing shows up until you start typing. So Ryan, and now all showed up. Now you want to give me a specific opportunity name. So it can be Ryan Turnbull -1, option 2, whatever you like to use to keep your files organized, because this is going to send information to DocuSign, and you just don't want a whole bunch of Ryan Turnbull, Ryan Turnbull, Ryan Turnbull, or if you're dealing with one client multiple times, maybe not me, it's going to get a little confusing because you're not going to know which file is for what deal, because it just names it by default the client's name. So if you want to make this buyer 1, that's perfectly fine. Okay. Now the last thing we need to do is, if you scroll down, it's going to ask you for commission rate. So go ahead and put a commission rate in there. It's not even needed for DocuSign, it's just needed to move forward. So there you go. And notice before we hit create, everything else that has a red star that's required is automatically filled in. That's why we went to active. By going into opportunities, clicking on active, it populates a lot of the required fields, and you only have to do 3 things: the client's name, customize the name of this deal, and put in a commission rate. That's it. And now we're 1 click away from accessing DocuSign. So go ahead and create it. Sure, I should say 2 clicks. Now this is going to load up the details page of your opportunity. And again, we don't need this for DocuSign. You can just click on documents in that sub menu up at the top of the details. There you go. And now that you have your DocuSign account created, there's a start a transaction button. And when we click on this, it's going to take us out of command, and we're done with command. It's going to take us to DocuSign, and I'll show you how to use it from this point moving forward. But just before we do that, I want to make sure everyone's aware, underneath there, you see a little gray button that says submit to MC. And if you're in listings, there'll even be a section for you to add files. That's not where you add your files. We want to click on start a transaction. Everything else underneath is part of the compliance system that we're going to be adopting down the road. So you don't need to use it right now, but by doing it this way, you're familiar where everything is. So when the new compliance is launched, you're already a little more familiar with it, and you don't have to learn everything. You only have to learn half as much because you've taught yourself to do it this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So congratulations. Click on start a transaction, and this will load DocuSign. You may need to sign in. You have it auto saved, which you may need to sign in once, or it may automatically open. Looks like it's automatically going to open. Fantastic. So we're done with command. We're in DocuSign, and notice right off the bat it says DocuSign Rooms. And this, if anybody is familiar with DocuSign, this looks a little different. It's got KW logo, and it's laid out, and it has something called rooms. Rooms was created specifically for Keller Williams agents using DocuSign. The best way I can explain this is, if you think of DocuSign as a giant virtual filing cabinet, the room is the folder within the filing cabinet. Just because you have documents in the room or the file doesn't mean your client's going to see it or it automatically gets sent. This is just where you keep all of your paperwork for this particular deal. And notice underneath DocuSign rooms, it says Ryan Turnbull -buyer 1. It's pulled data from command and automatically created this room or file folder from the information in command. It will only go from command to DocuSign. It does not go from DocuSign to command. So that's one of the many reasons why we're filtering through command and adding the extra steps right now to access DocuSign. And it'll be even more streamlined when we do release the compliance. Okay, so from here, we just need to specify what documents need to be signed, i.e. the web forms that you've created and downloaded. So Josh, if you can click on the add button with the plus icon for me, and you're going to add from your computer. And grab a PDF, any PDF will do at this point. Perfect. And it's going to upload, and nice, you've got an icon here. You can add multiple documents if you want, right? But we're just going to go with the one. So the next step is just to click on the actual giant icon for the document. And it's going to load a preview. And notice now that there's a new menu in the top right-hand corner, a giant X, a bunch of other icons, a key. The one we want to look at is the piece of paper with a corner folded over. That's called document actions. So if you click on that, you get a whole list of things, and we want to click on DocuSign. Okay, and we're only a couple data entry points away from being completely done. So this has created an envelope. I mentioned before, just because you have a file in the room, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be sent. Whatever is in the envelope is what's going to be sent to your client. So if you have 17 pieces of paper or documents that they need to sign, you can add all 17 into this one envelope. You don't have to go through this every single time for one individual document. You can put as much as you want in here. So if you were to click on the blue button, which says Room Docs, that would give you a list of documents that were also in the room, and you just click the check boxes. But we only uploaded the one, and that's perfectly okay. So you can hit cancel, and under the More button, just under the blue Room Docs, you can click More, Upload. So now you can grab more documents off your computer. It adds them into the envelope, and it also adds them into the room.
Okay.
So that's where you would go. So you can grab another one. It's going to load up. Perfect. Underneath that is add recipients to the envelope. So now you're going to click add recipient by email address. And you're going to type, this is important, type the name as it needs to be signed. So don't type Rye Turnbull or Ryan T, type Ryan Turnbull the way it needs to be signed. And underneath that, you're going to put my email address. And while Josh does that, I'm just going to let everyone know there is a little icon here for a phone book. Right now, it's not pulling the information. It's something DocuSign, not the developers at KW, are working on, but DocuSign is working on a way to integrate the contacts that are associated in the room. So you don't have to re-enter this. It's just a name and a drop-down list. Right now, we do have to enter in the names. It's a bit of a pain, but at the same time, it's a free, amazing platform. So we happily enter in people's email addresses as long as it's free. So getting back to the, so getting back to everything is, you see the little box off to the left, it says number 1. If you were to add another recipient by clicking the add recipient button underneath, and the box would appear, you can make it number 2, meaning, and go ahead and hit email, add email address. You don't need to fill it out though, but you could change that 1 into a 2, and it's going to send in that order. So number 2 person will not receive it until number 1 person signs it.
Oh, cool.
Right? And there's an even, you see where it says needs to sign off to the right? Click on that. You have more options. Needs to view, receives a copy, right? Specify recipient. So you could have a husband and wife both as number 1. It's going to send them together, and the lawyer is number 2, right? You can put your lawyer in there so that when the husband and wife sign it, it automatically gets sent to the lawyer and he receives a copy. That's something you could do here. You don't have to do it, but you have those options. Any questions about that, Josh?
No, not so far. That's great.
Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and hit the X that's highlighted there on the right, because we're just going to stick with one recipient. Underneath, you have an option to add an email, like, hey, please sign these forms. If you have any questions, please let me know. Here's my cell, whatever you want to put in there. You don't have to, but there's that option. And now you click next. If you're all happy here with the recipients and the files that you've uploaded, you hit the next button in the top right-hand corner. This is going to take a second to load, and this is where we specify where on the document they need to sign. So you don't have to click and drag. On the left, you just click signature, and then drop it anywhere on the document that needs an initial or a signature.
Okay.
Right. At the very top on the left where it says Ryan Turnbull, if you had multiple people, they would be in that drop-down list, and it's color-coded. So if you pick person number 2, it would be light blue. So when you're looking at your document, you see who's who when you're reviewing it. So you get the idea. You take the time to properly lay out where the signatures and initials need to be, and when you're happy with it, you hit send in the top right corner or bottom right corner, whichever you prefer. Okay. So now I'm gonna show everybody what their clients are going to see, and then we're going to bounce back to you, Josh, so you can show everybody how it's received. Okay. So I'm going to go to my screen for a second. Okay, and I'm going to go to my email. And there it is. I've received an email notification to review documents. Now, I've done this a few times, and this is just good for everyone to know for when they're communicating with their clients, that if this is their first time using DocuSign, it's going to ask them to agree to their terms. And when they hit continue, it's going to load up a specific style for their signature. They can pick whatever one they want or go with the default, right? Then you click start. It takes me right to where I need to initial. I click initial, I click sign, and then I click finish. Once they do that, it's going to log in and say, do you want to create a DocuSign account? You click no thanks. It's going to load a page. You can just exit right out of it. The client is now done. They've signed everything that they needed to sign. So now, Josh, I'm going to request you share your screen. Fantastic. Okay. And if you go to your email, you're going to get a notification that the document is now complete. Oops. Maybe. You should get a notification that a room was created, that I viewed the file and that I signed the file. So, balance of service sign in. That's added room. So we're just waiting for your email to update here. I mean, everybody's on. There you go. So rooms notification, signed document, and completed. Can you click on the completed one for me? Yep, that's it. And then there's view completed documents. It's going to load everything that's all completed. It doesn't need to know your location, so you can hit block or allow, whichever you prefer. And right at the top, you can print this off. You can download this. There's a little menu in the middle. There you go. So there are all your options to zoom in, download, print, whatever you need to do with it, and then send it off and process your document. So awesome. That's pretty much it. I mean, there are the extra steps of going to command first, but that's to make it easy for you down the road with new compliance that is coming out. And I'm gonna take this a step further. Do me a favor, Josh, and go back to your DocuSign tab that you have open. Okay. Yep. Click on dashboard. Perfect. This will take a second to load. And bookmark this page for me. Yeah. Call it KW DocuSign. Perfect. I just want to make sure you have it. Awesome. So let's skip ahead in time. I was the recipient. We're buyers. You sent me the paperwork, but they've come back with a price change and we agreed to it. But now you have to send me additional paperwork to sign. Because we've created the opportunity in Command, it's already there. Now we could log back into Command, go into opportunities, go under active, find the opportunity card, click on it to get the details, click on documents, and then click go to transaction. And that will take us to the dashboard of DocuSign or to the room. Or, because there's nothing wrong with doing it that way, if you're already in Command and it's right there, click, 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 you're done. But if time is of the essence and you're not quite familiar with that, you can load up this DocuSign dashboard that you've bookmarked and go directly to the room. So Josh, if you could go ahead and do that. So yeah, you've gone, oh, sorry, you've already got the page loaded up, so you don't have to reload it, but I just wanted to make sure you had it bookmarked.
Yeah.
Right, so now if you get rid of the drop-down menu for me, just click anywhere out of it, perfect. You see recently viewed rooms, or you could click on the word rooms, which is beside dashboard, all depending on how many documents you have and how long ago it was sent. And there's a room. And just like before, you click on that giant icon, that giant tile, and it's going to give you the details. And you have documents, envelopes, people. You could click on either documents or envelopes to move forward and upload the additional paperwork. So in the documents, you have the signed documents. I call it the receipt because it has the timestamps and everything, and it has the original document. So you could click add, upload the new document, and then click on it, which creates an envelope, add the recipient, specify where they need to sign, and hit send. So you don't have to go through all those steps of hitting command up just to access the actual room or file that's in the DocuSign filing cabinet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So feel free, if you want to test this out, send me a couple of documents. I signed a whole bunch of DocuSign test files that come my way. I mean, for all I know, I could have bought 5 houses and have no money. But I'm more than happy to test this out for people that are getting used to it. And I'm always available. And we're going to have this video available for agents because I'm sure you're going to sit here, you're going to look at it, but it might be a month, 2 or 3 months later that you need to access it again. And you're going to be like, wait, what did I do? I can't quite remember. Well, now we have this video that you can refer to.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So any other questions before I stop recording, Josh?
That's it, I think, for today.
Perfect.